Excellent.
There's going to be a quiz.
Yeah.
So be ready.
So we've been informed that you do not speak Spanish. However,
No.
you did make it look really good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so what did you do to get ready? And do you feel like you can have any sort of conversation now?
Yeah, I can have a basic conversation. You know, my comprehension is pretty decent now. I would say. I could not work for the UN. But I just had to tirelessly work with a translator, and just go over the scenes and also too. I mean, memorizing is one thing, but to make sure your pronunciation was on point was almost the harder aspect, because I didn't want the joke of the movie to be that I spoke Spanish poorly. I wanted the audience to kind of settle into the fact that he's actually pulling this off, and I thought that'd be a funnier, smarter choice. So I just had to, I started. At one point, it was crazy. I was dreaming in Spanish, but it was intense because every day I'd rap. Every day of filming, we'd rap, and I'd be like, oh, yes, and then start all over again the next day. But in looking back, it was, I can't complain about it because the whole thing was my idea. Yeah, that's kind of the story.
Well, good job. You fooled me.
Thank you. Good.
Who is Armando Alvarez? Rancher, son,
Sí, padre.
lover, vigilante,
Yo soy Armando.
You worked with some fantastic Mexican actors.
Yeah.
Tell us a
Which
little.
ones?
Well,
Can you remind me?
Pedro Armendáriz Jr. I want to know, like, Pedro Armendáriz Jr. Is a fantastic, Mexican actor.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about working with him and working with Gael and,
Sure.
and Diego.
Yeah, I mean, it are a little bit in disbelief that we got the cast that we got, and when we had heard that maybe Diego and Gael might be interested, but to get guys of that caliber to be in this movie, it gives the whole thing legitimacy. But they jumped at the chance to do it. They thought it was think of the idea first, and he just. They both thought, that they loved the fact that they just don't ever get asked to be in comedy. Number one, it was a chance for them to kind of make fun of Mexican cinema and some of these bad spaghetti westerns that from the late 70s or early 70s, and at the same time, even though we were Americans who wrote the script, it really was the Mexican perspective on what is going on between our two countries, and they just loved kind of the comedy and the satire and everything like that. And then in terms of Pedro, he was just, it was like working with an old Hollywood, movie star, kind of like what I imagine like working with Robert Mitchum must have been like. He had these great old stories, and we talk about, partying with John Wayne as a kid because his dad was a famous actor, and just he would just hold court in between the scenes and kind of regale us all with stories, and then he'd tell us a story in Spanish, and I'd try to listen. Switch back to English, but he could not have been a more gracious part of the cast.
And he didn't get a chance to see the movie?
I don't think so.
Oh. Well, as someone who speaks Spanish, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't even read the subtitles.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But I'm wondering, are you afraid that a lot of stuff would get lost in translation anyway? Because I know, like, from watching telenovelas and knowing that culture, I'm sure that there were a lot of little things that I understood that probably maybe the gringos
Sure.
would they wouldn't appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why, I think that's the potential of why this movie can work for both audiences, is I think you're getting jokes that obviously people who aren't fluent, there's a whole extra level that you're getting, and one of the things we also had a constant battle with people our script supervisor was bilingual, and we had a lot of Spanish-speaking crew members, and we wanted Armando's character to speak in that usted form, the very formal, stilted kind of the way you teach Spanish in high school kind of way.
Yes.
And everyone kept correcting us, like, you never say it like this. We know. Don't change it. We always had to keep because Patrick, the translator, was like, he kept getting notes from other people going, why would you say it this way? Don't say it. And he changed it back. We're like, wait, you changed it. He's like, yeah, they told me. Like, no, keep it bad. And so that's a joke that an English-speaking audience is never gonna get. And a lot of the slant, that Diego uses and stuff like that.
And even some of the other characters, like a Puma.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of gringos would know who that is.
No, but that's fine.
Yeah.
It's great. It's like that's just those are little things for people to discover later, and I think it's great if people get to watch this movie again down the road and like, oh, well, did you know that the guy playing piano is this huge Latin singer and the father of Genesis who plays Sonia? And so there's all these. I think there's all these little undiscovered hidden things.
So there will be it will go to Mexico, I assume.
Yeah, this is a crazy thing. It's a bigger release in Mexico than it is here. We're on like 400 or 500 screens in Mexico.
Wow.
And here it's just 375. At least initially. Hopefully it'll platform out. Which is kind of cool. Nothing would make me happier than to have a big hit in Mexico, a bigger hit there. That would be great.
Have a whole line of sequels.
The studio's rejected.
Is there an ass model?
No.
So did Anchorman finally realize what San Diego means?
I don't think he knows.
He still doesn't know.
He's misinformed. Yeah. No. I finally figured it out.